Squad up, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of The Squad. We are back this week. I feel blessed. I'm happy to be here.
It's the cadence. Whoa. What was that?
What? What?
I was like that cadence I hit to the squad. I was like, what was that? Go ahead.
Anyway,
Had a dip to it. Ugh.
anyway, how are things? How is life? Feeling good? Feeling great? How are you?
Child, I'm here. In the essence of what that means.
Okay.
But it ain't nothing bad. Just trying to process stuff.
All right. Uh, I feel good. I feel blessed. Um, Today we are going to be talking about, well, we're going to be wrapping up the Squad BC series by just talking about revelations that God has given us in our revisiting. I know many times, well, many people will forget like their testimonies and won't really think about them. Or once you finally do sit and think about them, like us, for example, we start to really use the wisdom that God has given us at this time and look at it from that lens and be like, oh wow, this was not right. This was wrong. Oh, this what was going on. Oh, okay. And so yeah, I know for me, like the wildest revelation I had as y'all know, I was engaged in witchcraft. And so the wildest revelation I had was just how selfish witchcraft is, um, and how dangerous it is for other people. And let me explain. It's how God revealed it to me is it's spiritual abuse. And it's spiritual abuse and violation. It's like no matter how you slice it, even if the person consents to it, because there are instances where you can ask a person like, "Can I put this spell on you?" And then they're like, "Yeah, whatever." But even in those instances, because what you're doing, it's the reason is because what you're doing is you're one inviting demons in to impose the will of Lucifer on their lives. And then two, you're taking them out of the will of God and yourself. And if God's will is perfect and best for us, you are ultimately wreaking havoc on someone else's life because of selfishness, because you're sending demons their way and binding them to them. And some people are not protected in the spirit because of generational curses. And that's how some spells are able to work. Like, I ain't gonna front. This stuff works. But it works because they're not under the blood of Jesus Christ. And it works because it's they're just not protected in the spirit. Um and it's really, again, it's like it's an abuse. It's Think about it like this. When you get into an abusive relationship, or if you've seen abusive relationships from the outside looking in, what you will see is the enemy will separate you from, or that abusive person will separate you from your family. They'll get you alone. Um, and then as they're getting you alone, they're also feeding these thoughts into your mind that try to convince you that they're the only one for you. They're the only person you need to be around, X, Y, and Z. And so the enemy does the same thing through witchcraft, because it'll start to be like, this is the only person I ever want to be around. I can't figure out what it is. This is the only reason that, like, this is the only person for me. I don't want to be around anybody else. I don't want to hang out with anybody else. Just this person. That's unhealthy. One, but also people can cast like love spells and stuff on people, and it'll be situations like that, which ultimately can backfire because, again, you don't know what demons you're attaching to that person, and you may be attaching a an equally abusive or physically abusive demon to that person, to the point where they're like, I said I don't want you around anybody, or I said I don't want to be around anybody else but you. So that means you can't be around. It's a whole different level of being mindful that you have to have. Which is why witchcraft is not for anybody to be doing. Yeah, that's something that God has revealed to me. And it's just because I did some things I wasn't supposed to do, and it worked. And in turn, um, God really had me think about it and be like, this person is not protected by me. And because they're not protected by me, you don't know what you've released in their life. And I've been praying for it and praying to God and asking him to like take it away and to cover that person. But at the time that I did that, I was about 20 years old or so, 19, 20 years old. I didn't care. I wanted what I wanted, and that was it. And thinking about it really makes me sad. And now, like, if at some point me and that person are gonna have to have that conversation, it's gonna be a very difficult conversation for me to have because it's just very messed up, and I don't know where that person's mind is gonna be about it. But the fact remains, I put a spell on them. It worked, and it went right. Or in other words, I loosed something spiritually on them that would connect them to me. And now the only person who can break it, or the only being who can ever break it, is Christ, is God. And then also think about the in those situations, with love spells and stuff like that, you are putting yourself in a soul tie. You're already putting yourself in a soul tie through love, but like it's like you're double binding it, like with a spell. Um, And so when you do this and then you wonder like why this person won't leave you alone or why you can't leave the person alone, it's because you did it. You did it yourself and you didn't think about how it would later affect you. Um, but yeah, that's some of the things that I learned, or just something that I've realized in my reflection. Um, it's just very selfish, and it's selfish against that person. It's disrespectful towards God, because God still created that person or those people with a purpose in mind. And you, what witches don't understand is that the enemy is using them as a tool to keep those people from discovering God's purpose in their life. So yeah, it's a very sobering and humbling um, experience to really think back on how I used to be. And all I can really ask is that God forgives me and that that person forgives me. Um, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, considering that was definitely like majority of that is still crazy to me. Cause I like knew what was going on, but still was like, yeah. I mean,
I didn't really think it was working until it worked. That was the
you
problem.
most people don't think stuff works until it works. You just be sitting there like, well, I did this thing. And then all of a sudden you see the results and be like, oh snap.
And
Well,
then I was like, I was also confused at the time because I was like, well, is it that working? Is it that, or is it that the person actually likes me? Because at the time, maybe the person liked me, maybe they didn't. I was really confused at the time. Um, so
yeah, ain't too much of a coincidence there. I mean, that's how it be
because we were
sometimes.
also messing around. That was the confused. I was just more confused because I was just like, well, we were messing around, but mm, did this work? Did this? I did. I'm confused and now I don't know what to do. But I still
Yeah,
shouldn't have done it either way.
yeah, you not knowing don't make it okay to do it.
Yeah, and I really wish I had thought from a when I tell y'all God is revealing to me how selfish I really was, and it's just a very humbling thing. Like I very very selfish, just very selfish. Like I don't care about who this affects. Me. I'm thinking about me and what I want, and that's not right. And I'm learning and I'm growing and I'm still not perfect,
Mm,
but I don't want
mm.
to be how I was. That's not right.
And that's tough. I mean, you know how you was. You're not. Cause boy, if you could go back in time to see how you were back then, you would definitely never.
I cringe. I am very ashamed of who I was just from that particular experience alone. That's I don't like it.
This is why I also got to tell you, give yourself grace. You didn't know.
I don't know, but that's still not right.
I know it's still cringy, but you still got to give yourself grace. You did not know, child. You didn't know. And I mean, we really don't ever know. If I gotta keep it up.
But I'm glad that I can share that because if anybody is listening and they're practicing witchcraft, like chill out. Chill out. Even with you trying to manifest your life, you don't know who you're stealing a blessing from trying to get it for yourself. You may be trying to steal something outside of God's will, like steal something that God don't intend for you to have in the first place. And you might be stealing it from somebody else and you're messing them up in having what God intended for them to have. Chill out.
You just gotta understand.
Even with you connecting with your ancestors, those are not your ancestors, those are familiar spirits which are still demons. And you are connecting those demons to your bloodline and you are allowing them to run rampant in your bloodline and therefore they will affect your children. Chill out.
And they create new generation of curses that weren't
Exactly.
even on you in the beginning.
Exactly. Like if I knew this stuff, if I really had a relationship with God, like I have now, back then, like if I really knew who Christ was and was really in a better headspace back then, I would not have done any of that junk. But I'm glad that God is allowing me to see it through better eyes. And the state of remorse that I'm in, it's just not worth it. Chill out. You're not a witch. That's not who God called you to be in the first place. Chill out. Stop being a brat. Stop trying to get whatever it is that you want out of life that you think you're supposed to have that is ultimately going to be damaging to your soul and mess up what God actually has for you. Chill the freak out and just talk to God about what it is that he has for you and who it is that he intends for you to be from in the first place. Because more than likely, you're trying to be like somebody else and live the life that they have instead of embracing the life that God has for you. Chill.
Just a problem with control.
Pretty much.
Folks want control so bad that they're willing to sacrifice even the better good of themselves to do it.
And then that's where you get selling your soul. That's where that comes from. Because you sell who God called you to be or what God intended you to have, you sell out all of that. And instead of trying to get in tune with all of that, you sell it to get what you think you're supposed to have, these worldly things, these worldly possessions and all this money and all of this is not going to make you happy. It's not going to bring you peace. Chill. Jay, anything? What did you learn?
You gonna calm? You gonna calm down?
I'm trying. Go ahead.
Don't breathe now. Breathe in, breathe out
It's
now.
not even me being mad at people. It's me being mad at how the enemy deceives people.
Yeah, I know.
That's really where I'm pissed off at.
Oh, how
Because
easy it was.
it pissed me off how it pisses me off how easy it was for him to deceive me,
Mm-hmm.
and it pisses me off how easy how people it's still happening, and it pisses me off like to the point like I've hurt people. That's messed up. It is not the person that I want to be.
It's not the person that you are anyway.
I know that. But the fact that he can start you out so young at getting you off track from God's actual will for you, and he does it even before you're born. He does it through your parents, and he does it through their parents because he knows he's gotten wind. He don't know exactly who it's going to be, but he's gotten wind that this bloodline in particular is going to be the one that's going to be part of taking him out, and he wants to prevent it.
Oh boy. Really got to recognize how far God and brought you, child.
Yeah.
And even in that, knowing what has happened and what has transpired, there's a level of grace you got to give yourself.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, you did not know.
Yeah.
It'd be different if you knew. You didn't know. That's why when it comes to certain stuff from back then, I just be like, she ain't know no better. And that's why I don't be having no judgment. I saw it all. And I was like, we ain't know no better. I was young. And to be honest, I don't care what nobody say. COVID make you feel like you didn't age about 5 to 10 years. Because I feel like there's such a gap in time between then and now because of COVID.
Yeah.
And you know what? I feel like that's intentional on the low. Because I feel like God want to make you feel like there's like.
Because when I think back to that, it does feel like it was a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, this was like 2017, 2018.
It be like that. But, like I said, there's a level of grace that go into it and make you just go like, all right, bet.
Yeah. Also, I saw something on TikTok one day, and somebody likened like what's happening with like the infamil shortages, formula shortages, and stuff like that. They likened it to when Herod was trying to kill all the babies when he knew like Jesus was coming, or he called wind that Jesus was coming, or a new king was coming, um, and like Pharaoh did when he caught wind that somebody was coming, like a deliverer was coming.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody said like what they see now with the infamil shortages, they view it the same way. And I even thought about that when them babies were killed um at their school, and I was just like,
It's getting very reminiscent of that and during Moses' time with Pharaoh when he was born.
yeah. And then Herod and Jesus, yeah. Well, not to say that somebody's gonna be Jesus, but um,
He
yeah,
will manipulate situations around it though.
yeah.
So
So I I just want to say that because when I thought about when I said how young the enemy starts.
mm-hmm.
So
Because it makes sense though when you think about it and go back into how the Lord wanted us, like he wants us to think as children, be as children because they will be allowed in. That's that devil conspiracy of, oh, this how you want them, I'm gonna corrupt them now type thing.
Mm.
Like, people don't
Yeah.
really think about how easy it is to sway a child one way or the other. That's why
Yeah.
they always say train a child in the way they
Where
should
they
go.
should go.
But sometimes from looking at, and this also comes from social work background of just environment.
Yeah. And that's why I
People,
said like he'll start in your family and like get your family's environment jacked up first. So
mm-hmm,
that once you come in, you get traumatized by the environment that's already there.
right. And that's why it's so critical as far as like our generation, like while we having kids and before we had kids, like to really understand breaking generational curses,
Mm,
because it's not just about the environment that you raise them in physically.
right.
Because some people feel like you just move to the burbs,
No,
you straight,
no.
or you just get out the hood one time for the one time, or you go experience these other things in life. You know, because I've done these things, my kids will be all right. Those generational curses are still on
Yeah. What's your
you.
family like right now? Like what's something that your family constantly deals with that you can't figure out why they deal with it? Like what 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 mental health issues are running through your family and how did they get there in the
Boy,
first place? Like, and then that goes into a conversation about being aware of who you're dating, because that's something that we don't really consider in dating. We do now because we're more mature in the spirit and just mature in general, or we are maturing rather. But right now, folks just worried about, oh, do you got money? Do you got this? Do you got that? And then there are some people who are concerned about, like, are you about breaking generational curses and growing and thriving? But even with those people, them be them spiritual people that's practicing new age stuff, borderline witchcraft stuff. Not all of them, but that is what tends to happen. A lot of times when you see that, it's them that's still burning sage and all these other things, and it's like, well, you're still spiritually, it's still not going, it's still not the best environment. Um,
mm-hmm.
you're trying, you got the right idea, but it ain't what you think. But I really think we need to get out of that space of, oh, he cute, she cute, we gonna have sex, that's it, or we gonna be together, that's it. They chill, they cool to hang out with, even if they cool to be around. That don't mean a doggone thing.
Man.
Um, yeah, if you're not ready to, most people who are having sex are not ready to have sex. Um,
Right.
But I saw
Right.
something that said if you're not ready to have a child, you're not ready to have sex. I mean, and yes, they go hand in hand. Just because, and this is why sex is meant for marriage, because there is a level of, there's a type of relationship and respect and submission to one another and to the mission that has to be there. And there's a level of selflessness that's necessary in order to make a marriage work. And if you're not ready to give that to a child, what makes you think you're ready to give that to a whole other person and give your body to that person and have them give their body to you? You have to be trusted with those things.
Well, that's the problem with this generation. We don't trust nothing, so we just do whatever.
Yeah.
Like, we don't really talk about it, but a lot of things that it comes, like, I would say our flaws in this generation really boils down to the lack of trust.
Mm-hmm.
The same reason why it's hard for people to like have a relationship with God is because a lack of trust in the physical.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it harder to even trust something beyond the physical.
Right.
So folks just be out here doing whatever. Oh, I can do whatever I want with my body because I ain't got to trust nobody. Da 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 da. You be like, what? Like, the philosophies of of our generation is really interesting
It
because they're
is.
all rooted in trauma.
Exactly. I be like, I don't think, and this is not from I'm not trying to do it from a self-righteous place. It's just, because I see it, I be like, I have some grace for you because I was there. However, this is not what you think. And this
Mm-mm.
don't make sense like you think it did.
And you know what? That connects to what I have realized from our time revisiting, I guess, BC.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know mine is, well, part of it is BC and part of it is going back and forth with Christ, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Um, my, I don't want to say issue, but I guess when it comes to my situation was more related to hiding or living in brokenness.
Mm.
Because when
Yeah.
I go back and like really look over my life, especially over the course of the series from stuff I've explained,
Mm-hmm.
trauma affected my decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Trauma created my lack of trust in God.
Mm-hmm.
My brokenness created my decision making as well. Because then
Mm-hmm.
I became what I attracted. So I attracted other people that were broken,
Mm-hmm.
whether good or bad. And a lot of times when I look at just how I went about life, I still came from the idea of I didn't have this, so I'm gonna make sure people I'm around have this.
Mm-hmm.
And although it's noble, it still comes from a place of brokenness.
Yep.
And for me, whenever I felt like my brokenness was coming out into the open, I hid.
Mm.
Or when I felt like I just, like, there's the difference between your brokenness being exposed and you hide, and then you just finally get a chance to just chill. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. COVID was the best thing that ever happened to me because I feel like I could finally just be free of so many things. Like, I didn't have to fight if I didn't want to because now I had a reason to not go outside. Like, it literally was against my health to go outside and do stuff. But it gave me a reason to be able to sit down and really have to come to grips with discovering the mental health issues that I was actually dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at my overall life trajectory and seeing that at that point in time, I wasn't where I wanted to be because I had got so used to just having my brokenness be out on the forefront or either use my brokenness as an excuse to not be who I was supposed to be. And I ended up becoming, I would say, makeshift copies of what God really wanted me to be. And in essence, he still used me during that time to really still affect his people in different ways. But like I said in previous times, what could I have been if I had realized all this sooner?
Yeah. Moved.
Like, I have a constant, like, thinking back of you was all right. Like, a lot of people might give you praise for some of the stuff you did, and now you can kind of accept it now. But boy, what you could have been if you was really with God and you really hunkered down and did what you were supposed to do.
Yeah. But even then, because I have those thoughts too, and I have to like really realize like those the what is it? So there's a song about the broken road, like God bless the broken road.
God bless the broken road,
The
Rascal
broken
Flats.
road, yeah, it leads you to where you're supposed. It's
Broken
still
road.
the broken road still gets you there, even when you
Because
go
it's
off.
still a path.
It's still a path. Even if you go off on the path or you take the fork in the road that you weren't supposed to take, it'll still get you to where you're supposed to be. God will make sure that you still get to where you're supposed to be, and you're gonna meet some people along the way that He wants to probably use you to bring to Him, which is why He allows the broken road. Me and Tiffany was talking about that the other no last night at Bible study. No, Tuesday about how God allowed us to be part of certain things, to be in witchcraft or something like that. He allowed us to see those things so that we could be able to speak to other people about them and connect to other people in those situations, and lead them back to Christ, or lead them to Christ. Um,
Mm.
I don't I don't think it's a mistake that I met some of the people that I met. And even now it feels like I'm getting like a reset, like somebody has hit the reset button, and like God has hit the reset button and said, okay, now now let's do this with me. Let's go. Let's do this with me. So understand, like, it's still, give yourself grace, because even though you feel like you would have been in a better position, or you should have been in a better position or whatever, and you think about the what ifs, it's still for your good. It's still working out for your good and for God's glory.
And I think just now it's like I don't even think about what I could be. I'm just like, okay, that time is over now. Good
Mhm.
things to learn, a
Right.
habit I know about it. But now I'm just like, all right, so what we gonna do now? Like,
Right.
not even what we gonna do now, but just kind of like, all right, God, so what's up? What we?
Right.
I see I was dumb.
So really, like, it's just like the question, the we've answered, like, what if we learn? So now, I mean, the question is just, the question to God is just, what's next? So where do we go from here?
And I
And
think it's just one thing about the time when you're broken or the times back before Christ, the way you really got to look at it is don't be scared of knowing that that part of your life is your testimony.
yeah.
Because one thing I've learned in the last few weeks of just conversations with people, Bible study, is that when we try to keep our testimonies out of the limelight when we do things, is when we feel like we frauds. Like, for instance, if you feel like you're supposed to be helping people, but when you help people, you feel like there's a lack of, you don't feel as genuine, or you feel like you're not who you need to be, or you don't feel like you're enough or whatever, it comes from that you not being 100% authentic to who God called you to be. And your past is still a part of you. It just doesn't dictate who you are
Mhm.
currently. It's your past is there as a lesson, but also as a connector to other individuals.
Right.
It allows you to be empathetic to people that have similar situations to what you used to be. So that way you can offer that light that God calls you to be.
Right.
But sometimes we be so fearful or so ashamed of our past, or the enemy tries to keep us so ashamed of our past that we don't use that to say that, you know what, I was a broken person. I'm not anymore. So I know that I can help you who are also broken to get out.
Right.
Not because I'm better than you, not because I know a lot, but because I've been where you are. And people can only relate to you if they know that you have interest in what they want, and also you can relate to who they are.
Mm.
And the more we cancel out our past, or the more we try to not have stuff a part of our testimonies, the more we really hurt ourselves and hurt others.
Mm.
Because you are not being who God called you to be. Your
Right.
past is not so indicative of your present when you come to God through grace and mercy and forgiveness.
Mm.
And sometimes we just get so ashamed that we just don't know the difference. And the enemy wants to keep you ashamed, because if you really understood who you are as a complete package, that's the flaws and all, you would then have to understand the power that God has given you in order to really invoke change on this planet.
Right. Amen.
Because one thing Jay gonna do, if so, I talk to anybody, I tell them straight up, hey, bro, I might not say it in this good way, but I'm gonna say I'm a F up. I say it. But I'm gonna F up that and change and learn some stuff. And one thing I always say is I fail, but I fail forward.
Yep.
And God continues to bless me because the transparency of knowing I fail. And I used to be a person that had performance anxiety so high that if I failed something, I crumbled. To the point to where if I even failed a little bit, I felt the pressure of generations of people depending on me to change something. But now I'm like, nah, that's not my duty. If God calls me to help change my family, which he has, but it's not on me to just do. Some stuff in my family that has to change will come through prayer and letting God handle it.
Amen.
Some stuff will actually change by my hand when God directs it.
Right.
Not because I'm trying to force a situation. Because that's when you really damage things, is trying to take stuff in your own control, i.e. witchcraft is taking things in your own control or trying to. And that does nothing but create destruction. When you try to do things in your own power, you are literally telling God, I am better than you.
Right.
Like when we try to do stuff on our own without God, we are literally saying, we don't need you. We better than you.
And that could
and we
not
look
be farther from the
dumb
truth.
idiots. We really be looking like idiots. And that's why I'm so happy God got so much grace and love and mercy, because if he really wanted to, every time you try to take some power and do things in your own power, or try to be like, oh, I'm going to handle this, da-da-da-da-da, God should be able to just take the breath out your lungs, be like, say that again, what you said, while you over there, you going to do what? But he ain't like that.
And this is why people are not God.
Cause I'm telling you, if God was really like how humans was, say you ain't gonna do something what God tell you to do. I bet. Try to breathe tomorrow. And that's just drastic. Let your heart skip a beat and think you get a arrhythmia. Let me melt your brain real quick, because I got the power to do it. That's what I'm just saying. Like, God ain't, if he really wanted to be like how we be, some of the stuff that we done said, especially me cursing God out as a child, I know some things I shouldn't be able to come back from what I done said out loud and things I've done.
Hey.
But he loved me, because boy, ain't no way. And he loved me more than I love myself, because ain't no way.
And with that being said, remember that he loves y'all too, no matter where you are. We talked about this at Bible study too. Coming to Christ is like Tafiti coming to Moana.
Yup.
She came to Moana on fire, angry, upset, pissed off, about to take all her frustration out on Moana, who didn't do it. She not the cause. But all Moana wanted to do was to remind her who she was and to restore her heart to her. And that's all Christ wants to do for us, so that we may live in his full glory, so that we may shine his light to other people who need him, so that we can be those good and faithful servants that he intended us to be, for his glory and for our good. And the world is in the state of hell that it's in, if I can be quite honest, because we've allowed it. Because we don't want God to be part of it.
We'll trust the chaos.
Yep, because it's what we know. But when you're used to trauma, that's what you use. That's what you allow. You would prefer the trauma. You prefer the chaos. It's what seems constant and normal. And anything good don't seem right. So,
and that's the thing. Like, we attract that. Like, people get so used to it. That's all you seek. Which is why you have in relationships when, and it's been a running trope, not blaming women, but this the rest of running trope from the fella side of when you finally get with a good dude and all you do is cause problems, because that's what you used to.
Yep.
Self-sabotage relationships. So,
Yep.
We really just gotta learn and really heal from stuff before we do certain things. That's all.
X. X. Um, yeah. You have anything else to add? I said my other things and had my rant and rave.
Yeah. I think it's just it's just talking about this, that part of me that just used to be just so broken, and just understanding where it came from now, and
Yeah.
trace it back to my childhood traumas and just how I used to interact with people.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a lot of people don't see me as often, because I've really taken that time to just distance myself from everything to really work on myself.
As you should.
I don't post on social media as heavy as I used to. I don't really, post much of anything, period. Like, I feel like when I get this grand return back to, I guess, social media or whatever, is when I feel like I want to rather than the
Mm-hmm.
need to. Because at one point in time in my life, I felt like I needed to in order to be connected with people. But like, I really found out who my true friends were when I didn't have anything. Like when I couldn't call folks, when I couldn't text folks, couldn't get on social media and stuff like that. And you know, when I came back, when I used to come back home and after all that time and stuff like that, and I realized that the people that were still trying to connect with me still after that, I was like, okay, yeah, these are my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I may have lost some people that was my friends due to circumstances, and they can think whatever they want to think. Because some people think I just went off to Auburn and just acted brand new. But in reality, your boy was broke, didn't have a phone, was stuck down there. And the only way I can go home is if I took Greyhound and walked back to Centerpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So I lost people because of them circumstances. Folks think I was just having a good time at Auburn. Y'all know I was always doing something, wasn't I? I was always in something, doing something, planning something, prepping something, fighting
Yeah.
something. And the fact that I could just, I guess in 2020, have no choice but to just stay in the house and just not have to do anything for the first time, it made me have to work on myself. I went there protest because it was like literally dangerous towards my health. But that gave me perspective on so many things in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it showed me how so many people only wanted to be around me because what I can do for them, rather than who I was as a person. But even then, who I was as a person wasn't the best either. So,
And
but
I
now
think
that look,
I was just gonna say, you saying that, like, when I really think about it, like, I'll say, like, I don't know if anybody wanted to be around me because of me or who I was. Baby, who you were was not great.
that's why, that's why I was just like, who I was wasn't the best.
Who you were you wasn't that good. You didn't even want to be around you. Um,
Right.
that's and so like I had to come to that on my own. Like, you
Realization.
know what? Like, God help me see, like, you, ma'am,
You weren't really.
you weren't great. Like,
If anything, like when I look back and I realize like how much God used me while I was wilding. Like, my friend sent a picture of me not too long ago of what I looked like during a certain thing in my house and what I
mm,
was doing. I was just like, boy, I was wilding. And I mean, I still got a little wilding left in me because that's just my personality. But like the essence of what I was, like some of it was wilding because of that's who I was. Some of it was wilding with to protect who I really was.
mm,
Like sometimes you wild out just because you so broken inside, you'll rather portray this version of yourself because that's what people can accept
mm,
rather than knowing that people can really help you. Like I lost a friend because I was just trying to hide my brokenness so bad that he felt like I was just being disrespectful
mm,
to the point that well, we don't even talk no more outside of a transaction that I owe him. But because I couldn't explain my brokenness when he was reaching out truthfully to understand what I was going through, but I didn't know how to express it because I had got so used to just shielding folks off from knowing that I was broken that's the reason why everybody thought I had everything together. No, Jay was just trying hard. And my brokenness would be on the back burner in order to help other people. But in that regard, my helpfulness or my selflessness was really my true version of my avoidance. Not to saying if I help somebody, I feel bigger of myself, but if I feel like I helped somebody, I had some type of self-worth that day. Problems when you're dealing with depression and don't know it.
Yeah. The way I would hide my stuff, like when I'm feeling bad. So I still I'm God is revealing to me like these are things that still matter to me, like, and these are things that I do want to do, but I want to do them out of an overflow of love, and not just because I feel bad about myself. But when I would have them get-togethers at what was 1605 or 105, when I would have them get-togethers, it would just be because I felt bad about myself, and I just wanted to make somebody feel good. Because I felt like my value only lied in making somebody feel good.
Same. And
And
I was like that too.
I didn't have anybody to, like, the person I was messing around with at the time, he had stopped messing around with me. And I had also used that as I was real messed up. I had used that as a ploy to get him to my house so that we can mess around again. And
I remember.
And it was also because I just didn't know how to open my mouth at that time. Like, I didn't know how to communicate as I should have. And so instead of outright saying, yo, why we ain't messing around no more, why you ain't coming to the house no more, I was just like, I'm gonna manipulate this situation to make him come to the house. And so if I have this large get together where we're mutual friends with these people, if I have this large get together, I'm gonna make him come to the house. And I did that also when we got together. We got together on some messed up pretenses, honestly, on my part. Because it could have been due to a spell. It could have also been due to me, well, not even been due, like, it was him being there in the first place was because I felt like he did not want me. And I wanted to make other people feel good because I felt like trash because he didn't want me. And I felt like he didn't want me because I was lurking on social media and seeing him interact with these other people. And I felt a way about it.
Yeah.
But again, moving from brokenness, I was real messed up. And I was hiding it under the guise of, oh, I'm just doing this because I love y'all and da-da-da-da. I'm in a place to do that now, to just want to overflow love. But at that time, it was really just brokenness. And I derived my self-worth from making other people feel good. And because I can't make him feel good like I want to make him feel good, I'm going to try to derive that validation in this way by putting on this event or putting on this game night and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I mean, I was the same way, boy. It was the other side of the coin of, I would say it was two sides of the same coin. Your side was based off of not having it yourself, so then you manipulate it. Mm-hmm. My side was knowing I didn't have it and made sure that other people had it. Mm-hmm. It's the same coin of that feeling of lack of, self-awareness or self-esteem, or having, that particular, whatever we want to call it. Yeah. But it's either that you manipulate it in order so you can receive it, or you're so broken that you just like, well, I'm gonna make sure I give it to everybody else, not knowing knowing I ain't gonna never get it back.
Right. And now I'm coming to a place where it ain't that deep for me to give it back. Like, God pours into me. My love, like the love that I feel, it comes from God now. And I'm straight. I want to share it because we need it. We need it in this world. This world is like, that's something that I really realized this week. This world is a mess, and there's enough darkness and evil in this world. I want to, at least in my corner of life, my corner of the world, I want to shine that light, shine God's light on my friends, on my loved ones, like on everybody I come in contact with, and love on them in the way that they need to be loved on, because we just need it. Because why not? Why is it so wrong for us to have people in our lives who shine love on us? Or why is it so wrong to have that? And it makes me so happy, because this is who I've always been, and I tried to push it away because I was told that it was wrong to be that way. But
Mm-hmm.
it's a why is it so wrong for me to shine love on people, to just love people? Why is that so wrong? I sent somebody I made like a quote unquote e-care package for somebody and sent it to them, and they ain't respond to it. It ain't that deep. I didn't do it for them to respond to it, but I know that them not responding to it was more about them not knowing how to respond, and them not knowing how to respond, because that's not something that's common that they get, and that's not something that I have commonly done, unless I've been in a romantic relationship with you, which even God had to check me on that, because he was like, you again, you had the right idea, just wrong reason, because you were doing it to get something, to make somebody feel something about you. You were basically trying to buy love. And now that's not where I am. I just want to share love because we need it. And if I can do it in whatever way I can, whether it's giving you a care package or an e-care package, or having a get together at my house or something, making sure y'all have a safe, clean space to have fun in and have good food and stuff like that, that's fine. But I just want to be love and share love in this world that tells us that it's wrong,
Mm-hmm.
that the pure way of doing it is wrong. Living from brokenness is a mess. It's a mother. It is a mother.
Mm-hmm. And you get to the point where you just like, man, look. I just feel like if we just really accept who we used to be and learn how that helped create who we are today, a lot of the trauma that we have would be so understood and
Yeah.
less.
But that's the point. We're supposed to, again, God allowed us to be in these positions so that we can understand other people, so that we can have grace for other people, so that we can look at people and say, you know what, that's a lot, but
Mm-hmm.
you're still worthy of love. And I'm not gonna speak down on you or anything like that. I get it. And I get it because I've been in my own situations, or I've been exactly where you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand. And the first step to growth is understanding from yourself and understanding from those who are supposed to support you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I have this week. Do you have anything else to add, Jay?
Um, nah, just love on yourself some days, child, because the world don't love us enough.
Yeah. And love on the people in your lives. Like, don't be so caught up on getting something back all the time. And they wouldn't do this for me. Well, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. If you worry about what you're gonna do for you, understand that
Mm-hmm.
God is gonna fill you up. I understand reciprocity and stuff like that, but like, and no, God don't want nobody to take advantage of you. But God also wants us to be in a place where that's not even a concern. Like, it's not about that. It's about sharing the love.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all have a great weekend, a great week, a great day. If you need some words of encouragement, feel free to hit us on Instagram. Um, if you need prayer, reach out on Instagram or Twitter. Um,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you need, we are here. Um, and yeah, shine, be, share love wherever you go. God has blessed you with so much love, has blessed us all with so much love. Whatever you have in overflow, share it.
Mm-hmm. And not just that, like, just if you don't learn nothing else today, man, give yourself some grace. You
Yeah,
went through what you went through, but that ain't the end of you.
give you some grace, give you some grace, and give the people around you some grace, because we all trying. We are all trying.
Everybody is trying.
In the
Sheesh.
best way that we can at the moment.
And knowing that people are literally using what they know in their current state to just survive the day.
Mm-hmm.
They really don't be knowing outside of that. So,
So that's all. We will see y'all next time. Peace.
yeah.